Hi, and welcome to Coach's Corner, where systems matter and both personal and professional learning and development is beneficial for everyone and essential for some. As always, please like, subscribe, comment, share, and hit the notification bell. Let's get started.
Family and friends. How do you break that down? And do you break that down separately or together?
Yeah, so, I try to do things really at a granular level.
Okay.
So that what I mean by that is 1.1, 1.11, 1.1,
Right.
if need be.
Yeah.
But I also like to go on the other side, which is to talk about just theory and different things like that. And then everywhere in between, right?
Yeah.
So I look at it and I think, the Lakers, let's say assistant coaches,
Yeah.
they got to break things down at probably a granular level sometimes, right?
Right.
So there's the basic 4 things you do to shoot a bucket,
Yeah.
but they may break it down and say, no, you got to take that, hand through your eye. You got to put your hand in the bucket. You got to finish with full extension. You got to, right?
Yeah.
Versus the head coach, he didn't have time for that. Right?
Right.
He can't get into all that. I mean, I'm not saying he doesn't ever.
Right.
But he's talking about schematics and plays and philosophies, and I got to figure this out. This,
Yeah.
I got to help with this salary cap potentially,
Yeah.
or maybe that's the GM.
Right.
So there's a lot of things that are being able to go on there. So with family, friends, that's the first, kind of 2 big buckets.
Got it.
And then under family, I think, at first we have what I call the immediate family. And
Yeah.
at first that looks like it would be me and then my mom. And then I had 2 brothers. So the 5 of us were immediate family.
Right.
So then when I left the family and went and married my wife, then it was just my wife and I that I would call the immediate family.
Okay.
And then when I had kids, they became the immediate family.
Got
So
it.
then my mom and dad and my brothers moved one over, right?
Okay.
Which I call the expanded family. Okay.
Got it.
And so then you have that. And then you have all the other, which I call the extended family. Cousins, aunties, grandmothers, all of that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. But there would be some sort of a blood connection there. So it's truly family.
Right.
It's not somebody that was your best buddy that you call family.
Okay. Got it. And so with family, you said you moved out, had your wife, and then she became part of your immediate family.
Yes.
And then you had your kids.
hmm
So when, let's say, your kid moves out,
Yeah.
has kids of his own, is he still part of your immediate family, or does he then move to your extended family?
So he would always be part of my immediate family.
Okay.
But for him,
Right.
when he gets to somebody else, then, let's say he marries who or whomever,
Right.
then he starts his own immediate family.
Right.
And so, but he would technically be part of our immediate family, even if he moved out.
Uh-huh.
But once he gets married, then it changes.
Got it. Okay. That's awesome. I didn't, that's cool to think. And then another question. So when, your son, daughter, whoever marries, right, and then their family comes in, do they become part of your extended family as well?
Yeah, or what I would call expanded.
Or you guys are, yeah, expanded. That's right.
Yeah,
Yes.
I would call them as part of one moreover as part of my expanded family.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And then the reason I do that is because typically it's how much time you're going to be able to spend with each of them.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
So after we talk about, family, then you have friends. I break that down: primary, secondary, tertiary. It's
Yeah.
not because I don't like this person that's a tertiary as much as I do my primary. It's
Right.
just that I spend more time with my primaries.
Right.
Right.
Yes.
And then when you have the last part of it, which is kind of acquaintances or what I call, people that you work with or used to work with.
Yeah.
That group, it's just a time thing more than anything. And then I have little systems that I do within there, what I call constant contact. Don't ask my kids about that because they hate those 2 words, because they've been practicing it since they've been like 4, 5, 6, 7 years old. And but what that does is to just have a formal schedule, because life's busy, right?
Yeah.
And so if you don't have a formal schedule to call your papu,
Yeah.
by the way, when was the last time you called your papu?
It's been a long time.
Exactly.
Right.
And so that's why I put it into a system. So even if that person's the low end of the totem pole, so to
Yeah.
speak, where you can spend your time,
Yeah.
maybe it's quarterly that you would have a constant contact, meaning you would make a contact with them.
Okay.
Right? Maybe it's biannually. Maybe it's just yearly for certain people that you would send a Christmas card or something like that.
Yeah.
Versus the people that are on this side of the continuum,
Yeah.
right? Then you're going to be spending a lot of time with them, and you probably don't need a formal, calendar, so to speak. But it's
Right.
still nice to have, because I know I look up sometimes. I'm working so much and so hard as the audience is.
Yeah.
Everybody's going 150 miles per hour,
Right.
and you look up and you're like, did I talk to my wife today? I
Right.
mean, I slept right next to her.
Yeah.
I think I saw her this morning, but I don't know that, right?
Yeah.
And so this just allows that to kind of be a set it and forget it.
Got it. That was, I was going to bring up constant contact next. So I'm glad you did that. That worked out perfect. Another one. Thank
You've
you.
heard of constant contact?
Yeah, I have. I read about it, so I was like, you know what? I got to ask you about that. When it comes to constant contact, would you say that that's something that you probably daily do, but even though it's not, like written down, so you're always in contact with your wife, but you would make it a special point to call someone? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I think it's both and, right? I
Okay.
think that we live in an informal and a formalized world.
Right.
I just know for me, once I formalize it, even if I don't do it, it's there.
Okay.
And I could quickly fall back to it.
Yeah.
If it's not there, then I probably have zero chance for that to happen. I tell people all the time on the individual system, if you don't carry a task or to-do list, the chances of you getting something done, especially for somebody else, is about under 50%.
Right.
It's 50% or less.
Yeah.
If you have it on there, then you maybe have a 70 or 80% chance. Now, the reality is you may not get to it at all, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But at least you have an idea that it could be there.
Got it.
That may be a papu or a granny or a grandma or a G-ma or a whatever.
Yeah.
They may need that. Maybe
Yeah.
a timely phone call. Oh, I'm so happy that I got to talk to,
Yeah.
because a lot of times as people get retired and they're older and different things,
Right.
they don't have as much to do. They don't have that daily interaction with their coworkers or acquaintances or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Do you think with, this whole COVID situation, do you think that should have been a better whatever for people to talk to their family and stuff? And do you think people took that time to talk to their family?
I hope so. I hope we all did. There's zero excuses.
Right.
There's Zoom, there's, I don't know, Google Meetup, there's
Right.
FaceTime, there's just a call, there's a text. I mean, there's no reason in the world that we shouldn't be taking advantage of, being with our loved ones, talking with them, so on and so forth.
Right.
And I realize, again, it's a busy world, and I get it.
Yeah.
But there's no reason to not have some kind of time with them on a regular basis. And I think that COVID, with all the bad things that's happened, with people's health, and I'm sorry if anybody's, somebody close to them has passed away or
Yeah.
any of that stuff. I really do, that would, that kills me for you. But in the same breath, I think there's a lot of great things that can happen from that as well.
Right.
And so I just think we always have to look at the positive side.
Yeah.
If somebody gives me lemons, I'm making lemonade.
Right.
Right. I'm going to figure out a way to make lemonade or try to make it the best situation that we can. So I'm going to mourn, and then I'm going to move on and try to make something out of that.
Got it. Another great life lesson. Thank you. Appreciate
Yeah.
that. And then with going into friends now aspect of it.
Yeah.
So, you said primary, secondary, and tertiary.
Yes.
Now, I know that you also talked about time, care, and belief.
Yes.
So a tertiary friend is possible to move into a primary friend. Is that correct?
Sure. I mean, there's a bunch of different situations to where that could happen, right? You
Yeah.
start working with them, or somehow you just become tight. I know my oldest son, he has said that since he's moved out. Oh, I've become close with this guy, or I've become closer.
Yeah.
Right? And so I call, sometimes there's proximity friends.
Yeah.
Those are the ones you usually are working with.
Right.
And then there's your friends for life. So, and then I think the other thing is too, are you a one-person person? Or do you like a bunch of people, right?
Okay.
So I was a one-person person. Like, I had my best buddy, Todd. Yo, Todd, go Dodgers, right?
Yeah.
From the time basically we were in kindergarten, we were pretty inseparable. And even to this day, 47 years later, we're tight.
Right.
And so, but I just had one person.
Right.
I know some of my other friends, they go, oh, that's my best friend, that's my best friend, that's my... Great, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
Whatever works for people,
Yeah.
I think is important, to be able to know and understand. Self-awareness, right? Understand you.
Yeah.
Because I think, sometimes, especially when we're younger, we go, oh, I only have one friend. I need to go get a bunch. No, maybe you don't need to get a bunch of other
Right.
friends.
Yeah.
Why? If that's what you dig and that's what you like. I've always been kind of a one-person person.
Yeah.
So when you talk about the tertiaries,
Yeah.
for me, I keep in contact with them pretty good because maybe I only have like two friends.
Friend. Right.
Yeah, my wife and you, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's funny.
Yeah.
And so two more questions from that I can think of, and maybe another one will pop up. My first one is that I read that your son, your youngest son, kind of just sticks to himself. He hangs out in his room, you said, doesn't like to do. So when it comes to friends, he probably doesn't do much with that. Is that true?
It is true, and this is where it's a little bit tough, right?
Yeah.
So when my kids used to bring home, their report card, A's, B's, C's.
Yeah.
My wife said, "Why'd you get a C?" or whatever.
Right.
I just talked about the A's most of the time.
Yeah.
So, but here goes the other part of it. So with him in particular, that's okay. He likes to be by himself. He's very creative. He does music. He spends, a lot of these music guys, they spend billions of hours in, I don't know what you guys call that, but the media room or studio. Yeah, thank you. They spend, and they're, they could be by themselves. They could be with a couple people,
right?
Other, producers or artists, whatever.
Yeah.
And so that's great. But we also would say, hey, you have to spend at least an hour with us for family time as well.
Got it.
So we would try to pull him out of that, but still honor and understand that's the way he rolls.
Right.
Right. We all need to roll the way we roll.
Got it. And so, that opened up another question. So, what is some advice that you would give to parents or friends that, run into that problem that, they're close with someone, but they just like to be by themselves? It's nothing personal, it's just how they roll. What would you give them?
Well, as a former teacher, and we've helped, tens of millions of kids now with one of my businesses, Consult for Kids, I always try to ask them, what do you want? And then the next question is, why do you want them?
Okay.
I think a lot of time parents have an idea that I don't know how that works. Yeah. Maybe something like that. I think that parents a lot of time, it's like they're an extension. Their kids are an extension of them.
Uh-huh.
So let's say I wanted to be the best athlete in the world. Well, I obviously wasn't, thanks to you, LeBron, right, or whoever.
Yeah.
So then I want my kid. Oh, he's going to be the best at this.
Right.
And it's like, and I used to have to counsel them all the time, Dr. Phil style, and say, hey, why do you want that? Well, and I said, are you sure it's for them? Because it really seems like it's about you. And so that would be kind of the dynamics that I would want to figure out what's going on there.
Yeah.
And then the second part to that is, I think that a lot of times we think in either or.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of both and. So either or says he can either be with us or he can be without us.
Right.
He can either be in his room or he can be out with us. I don't think that's life. I think life's a lot of both and.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm a very black and white thinker.
Right.
So for me to say it,
I'll tell you something.
I think the world's pretty darn gray out there.
Right. Yeah, I agree with that one. And so then that moves into my question of friends.
Yeah.
Becoming family.
Yeah.
Your best friend, you've been like this for 47 years. So in a lot of ways, you probably consider him family. Is that true?
Yeah, and so that's where, you're stretching, right? So
Right.
here's the hard line of a system. But the reality is you stretch it.
Got it.
And so for me, or for somebody else, let's say you have a couple brothers and you don't talk to them anymore.
Yeah.
Okay, well, so I was, I had two people, now I have just me, so
Right.
you would kind of bring people into that. And I think that that's going to be part of it. I think that the way things are going, unfortunately, in our world, a lot of siblings are fighting and don't talk to each other and don't speak.
Right.
So now all of a sudden the 20 people at Thanksgiving are down to 10.
Right.
But that's happening in the family down the street and your best friend and so on and so forth. So you may bring them in and say, hey, you want to do Thanksgiving with us? And in the end, ultimately, that does kind of become part of your family.
Right.
So, that's just one of the nuances of the system that you would have, obviously, the parameters to be able to figure out and stretch and change and adjust to what makes sense.
Right.
Always do what makes sense, right?
Yeah, right. And so, was there anything in the family friends that I should ask you that I didn't, or something that you would like to tell the audience that, I didn't ask you about?
Yeah, the only thing that I would just say is a quick story, and this is not just in that arena, but overall. I don't know if you remember, but the little girl goes up to the mom and says, hey, why does grandma cut the back part of or I think it was, why do you cut the back part of the ham off?
Yeah.
She's like, I don't know, go ask your grandma.
Right.
And grandma said, I don't know, go ask the great grandma. And great grandma said, I don't know why those idiots did it,
Yeah.
but I did it because my pan was too short. Well, I think that's what happens is we do things based off of tradition all the time, especially with family.
Yeah.
This is the way we roll. Well, we've always done things, let's say for Christmas time, we've always as immediate family, we've always done open Christmas presents in the morning.
Yeah.
Okay, but then your kids leave and their spouse's situation is that's their time slot too.
Right.
So then you may have to adjust, you may have to move around, you may have to, right?
Right.
And then people get hurt about it.
Yeah.
Right? And they're mad. Well, why do we have to do, and it's like, look, I don't like compromise because I think compromise is two people both getting what they don't want.
Okay.
And I think consensus is the word we're looking for, which, I may have to change and alter a little bit, but I'm not totally getting what I don't want. And so the same thing over here. And I think that, we can learn to come together better than we do sometimes.
Yeah.
I think that would be important.
Got it. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you.
If you need to contact Brett or Coach, please do so on his social media accounts, email, and or text. You can find that information in the description below. Again, please like, subscribe, comment, share, and hit the notification bell. Thanks, and we hope you enjoyed.